Welcome to part two of our discussion on Friday, 6/16/17. We're continuing we were talking about Israel,
Yeah,
right?
Israel.
We lost the Muslim Brotherhood, though.
I think
Yeah,
we beat
unfortunately.
that to death, though.
Palestine's retreated, so
Well, yeah.
apparently Israel's won for the day.
Palestine got attacked by the Allies.
And we kind of wrapped up the end of that thing with, the human nature and how people behave and react. And,
Essentially, yes. Morally speaking, I think we can all agree it's not right. However, legally speaking, we're doing what we got to do.
Okay.
We're upholding our end of the contract.
Okay.
So where were we going next?
We were going into that transgender reading for kids thing
What
because
about
we
Kathy
talked
Griffin?
about.
Because that was hilarious.
Well, we already
It
talked
so
about the
wasn't.
trans. Hold on. We'll do that next. But the transgender reading thing. All right. So basically, they're having this reading in the library, like kids around 5 to 7, and they have a transgender man teaching them about who wants to be transgender and all this shit, right? And this is not I guess it would be typical, but it's the caked on makeup. You have transgenders that are actually really trying to look like a woman, and then you have these
I
guys
would say
that
there's more drag.
think
than
they're
transgender.
it was more, but he was trying to like. I push it
what-
on these young people and their impressionable minds, and the kids obviously they're like, yeah. That's two parts to it, and I just want your guys' opinions about it, right? So you decide that you want to introduce this sort of thing to them early on, so they become accepting of it in terms of not being judgmental and all that kind of stuff. But we already talked about allowing kids to just develop naturally and not be influenced by these sort of things. So I just want to think, do you think it's appropriate? You think it's a good idea? You think it's a bad idea? And we'll start with Godzilla here. I'm not hearing much from him tonight, so I'm trying to push him into the limelight.
Drag me into the conversation.
What's your thoughts on it?
That to me is almost like what you mentioned earlier in the first show, something that White America mentioned, having the conversation at home with the parents. That's a parent conversation to have. I don't know that should be something we should be.
And the interesting thing about that was the parents are all there participating.
They need to, because they probably don't even know how the hell to talk about it. That should be a class for parents to go to, and then they can discuss the kids.
There you go.
It should not
I like
be,
that.
Should not be the parents and the kids
I like
at the same
that.
time.
That's a good idea.
Because I can tell you, if the parents are like, oh,
Because if you want to talk about a certain level of ignorance when it comes to that subject, teach them, and then let the parents teach the kids. Don't have it like you're in the schools and you're forcing it on. You know what I mean? That's not okay in my. I don't like it. What do you think, Uncle Sam? I know. I'm gonna.
look
I
at me.
did it on purpose.
Drink your mead, motherfucker.
I've been drinking
Let
my
me have some
mead.
more of that.
I made that, by the way.
That's pretty good.
There's actually Ardbeg mixed into this. That other whiskey you turn your thumb up at? But this is made with honey.
Yeah,
I
there's
had a
there's
natural
only-
reaction to my organs burning.
There's just a little cap full of scotch in there.
We should have put more in it, because that scotch is amazing.
No, there's a trick.
Scotch
My
is pretty
mead needs to
powerful. Oh my
taste
God.
a certain way, and I know the way to make it. You guys are drinking it, you like it, I made it.
Well, you should make more.
It's delicious.
I need to, but I also need to buy a shit ton of honey.
Well,
Anyway,
then I will do that.
my thoughts on it, it's still my standpoint of where you shouldn't be forcing it upon a kid. Like, they're way too young. Like, listen, our kids are growing up way too quick as is. They've got the internet, they've got everything. These kids are more educated on certain subjects that when we were kids,
Yeah,
we wouldn't even thought twice about it because we were too busy out playing in the mud, beating each other up, and getting hurt, and then having our parents yell at us. We are out being kids.
And in their
And I think our
teenage years,
problem
they will
is
come across
shut up.
I didn't even hear what you said, you bastard.
But I think what we need to do is stop. Like, I understand you want them to be accepting, but our kids are going to learn by our actions as adults. They're going to learn by what they see at home. So even if you sat your kid down and they saw a transgender dude, think about all the stupid assemblies we went to back in grade school, where you had some dude that was like, "Hey kids, don't do drugs,"
I remember that.
and we were all like, "Yeah." And what did we do when we got older? We did drugs.
Yeah, the DARE program was great. It identified what the
Dare,
problem.
yeah, I remember
Like
that.
the thing is though, like,
Sorry.
if you grew up around something and your parent was, if anything, the parents need to be educated, like Godzilla was saying, because as you react to what's coming in life, because your kid's gonna ask you what is that, because in their normal sense of society, their normal little world, which is home, that's normal for them. So
Just
when they
like,
see something that's not normal, and yes, normal is a thing. It's described as what is happening in your everyday life. That becomes normal to you. It's your sense of reality.
Yep.
So when that sense of reality has something broken or something new come into it, you and as an adult need to be educated enough to explain it to your child and be, oh, that's just this, that's normal, it's okay, honey. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to be able to explain it to your kid and be accepting, and they're going to see how you react to
That's
that
true. They're
person.
gonna watch how
So
you-
if
that's
you,
true.
as their parent,
Yep.
come into a contact with a transgender person in their presence, and you act like it's nothing out of the blue,
That's what your kids
just
are gonna
normal, your kid's going to grow up that way. Your kid's going
And
to
it-
be a good human being, not a
It
little
goes the same
fuck.
way with racism and
Yes.
smoking cigarettes and
Anything.
all these things.
We
Yeah.
should,
If you
we should
sit
Ben
there-
Shapiro Skype in on this.
Like, if you sit there, like, I grew up in a very mixed neighborhood. I did. I grew up, my little brother's black. Like, yeah, his mom's not my mom, or his dad my dad, but to me, that's my little brother. I grew up with this kid. He spent summers at my house. So, to me, racism wasn't a thing. Growing up, I didn't see racism. Why? Because I grew up in a multicultural ensemble, so to me,
So you're saying you didn't have a lot of white privilege?
no. It
Racism,
didn't.
racism's taught.
It didn't make sense to me. It really didn't make sense to me because it never happened where I grew up. Where because I was white, I was allowed to do something, but my boy, because he was black, couldn't. That
I
was
know,
not
that's
a
why I think
thing.
it's one of the biggest
Like
canards
I
out
grew
there
up.
where this
I grew up
racist-
very mixed. So to me, I was like, I don't understand. The only real fucking bar that was there was these people were rich and we were fucking poor, and if you were poor, fuck you.
What did
That's
what
how
did
I
you
grew
just
up.
say,
I said that's why I think it's one of the biggest canards out there, that we're a racist country that just everybody hates everybody else. It's not true.
Thank
So-
you.
It's
So-
much more classist than it is about
yes,
the
but
color of people's
my
skin.
point being is that it's learned behavior. Your children
Absolutely.
learn from you. So if
Yes.
we as adults can sit there and show our kids, and also to the future generations, like the younger millennials, which do have a lot of open-mindedness to them and a lot
That's
of
very true.
potential. I just think their focus is very fucked right now. Instead of just marching and rioting, yeah, you're bringing attention to it, but now what are you doing about it? Show me progress. Instead of I like the Martin Luther King approach to shit, where he marched, yes, but he stood silently and he held his head high, and he fought in politics and every other realm to bring equality. He fought for it. He didn't just march; he fought.
Yeah, it didn't end with them.
It didn't just end.
walking down the
He
street
didn't
and
riot.
going back home.
He didn't beller. He didn't condemn another person. He didn't look at the racist and go, "Well, you're racist. I hate you." He looked down and went, "It's okay. I understand you don't get it, but I still love you."
You know, I honestly
And
think
that mentality is missing.
I think
But if we were to bring that back and now as adults teach our kids in the proper manner and actually have those conversations, but not when they're kids, man. Like, yeah, if it comes up, you go, all right, honey, this is what it is, but we'll explain a lot when you're older. Or
I think it's okay to drip a little bit out when they're young.
drip,
but don't
yes, but
bombard
don't dump
their
them.
brains with it. No.
They don't need to know all that shit.
Let me make him make. What point did you want to
Wait a
make?
minute.
so. I honestly think that if Martin Luther King wasn't assassinated, he would have been a president.
Agreed.
Because the
believe that.
the other two major world leaders out there that did major change within their country in a non-violent format became
Mandela?
leaders of the country.
Mandela, right?
Nelson Mandela and Gandhi. Both did non-violent movements against the establishment and survived and became presidents and leaders of their countries.
Yeah.
Revered.
Yeah.
Loved.
All right, we're gonna switch gears a little bit here. Kathy,
So-
you want to? Oh, you want to make any more points on that?
Well, no,
subject?
we can all pretty much agree that, like, this
Parents,
is something
yeah.
that it should be done by the parents, but parents educate yourselves.
Yes.
Like, don't be bigots about it.
If the school systems want to get involved with this sort of stuff, then offer classes for the parents. I totally agree with that suggestion. I like that suggestion actually, because it doesn't ignore the idea that people won't they learn these behaviors and they don't know about them, so they treat it a certain way, and it doesn't ignore it, and it allows the parents to be educated and teach their kids properly. I agree with that.
They don't have a handle on it themselves more often than not, and we don't know what it is. So to expose children that don't understand what the hell's going on and try to educate them, it's a clusterfuck.
Oh, I want to
I
be a
don't like that at
tranny.
all.
It was gross, actually. I'm sorry. It was fucking
Hey,
gross.
because
some
it becomes
people like
cool.
chicks with dicks.
Well, no, I'm talking about... I know
You're
that's not
talking
my
about kids
point.
that
I'm
don't
talking
know
about kids
shit.
being impressionable kids. And
I
the trainees up there talking about who wants to be a trainee?
I think-
And, I want to be a trainee.
I think in the last show I made it quite clear. I thought the Boy Scouts had a very good policy while it was controversial. Of don't force that shit into your
Like when you're in school, yeah, you have to deal with a lot of things, but I feel as though like that should come as it comes. Like we're teaching our kids about shit way too young.
Yes, I
Just
remember
let 'em
being
be
in,
kids.
I remember
They're-
being in high school in health class and talking about sex was like kind of hushed still.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
like,
everybody knew
yeah.
about it, but it was still like a taboo subject.
You didn't.
6th grade, it was you separate the boys from the girls, and they were like
You had to talk.
yeah, it was the talk and
And
the
we all
gym.
giggled because we saw an erect penis in a
Right.
vagina. And we had to talk about it. But at the same time, like,
Fucking
what did that
elementary
do
school
to a
class
lot
about
of
that
boys
shit.
at 6th grade during after health class? The first thing you wanted to do is be like, hey. Meanwhile, if you didn't really get that, like, hey, this is what's going on with your body. These are the changes you're about to go through. Cool. Not, hey, this is how you fuck.
Yeah.
No.
All right. I think let's hit up Kathy here. All right. So tell us what everybody knows what happened with her, right?
Oh, and explain it just so.
Go ahead, guys. I know you know about this. Go ahead, guys. What was her What was? Go ahead.
Kathy Griffin did a photo shoot, and for whatever reason, decided it was going to be a great idea to do a serious face pose holding up a decapitated Donald Trump head. It went viral. Everybody went nuts. Everybody shit on her, and all hell broke loose. And she deserved it.
So
Because it's
I
retarded.
guess basically the question I have is, what are your guys' opinions on people's reaction to her, and was it appropriate and okay for her to do what she did? We'll start with you, White America.
So, you had other celebrities during the Obama administration. I believe Ted Nugent was one of them, calling for lynching Obama. And you had a lot of people go out there and put up effigies of Obama getting hung, and all this going
Are
on.
these famous people? Or are these just
Ted
the
Nugent?
masses?
You know who Ted Nugent is?
Ted Nugent was putting up effigies of Obama.
He was saying it was acceptable. From my understanding, from what I remember, he was one of these
You
celebrities
did
that,
Ted Nugent first, and you went on to this other. I'm saying he was doing all this. He's the go-to. That he did all of this stuff.
in terms of like make photo shoots for that. No, but he definitely was for it. Okay, so what I'm saying is you
He
had
paid a bit of a price for that, I believe.
you had other people going out and doing these things, and basically getting away with it of make this shit happen and kill the president. And then
But
you
who are
turn
these
ar-
other people? You're saying people. I'm saying the reference is Kathy Griffin. Is
yeah, Kathy
famous.
Griffin, and one.
Are you talking about just people in crowds
They
that
were-
are idiots? Are you-
Well, I mean, you're gonna have that, but I believe Ted Nugent was one of them. If you want, we can pull it up right now. But I'm pretty positive he was one of the individuals that pulled this shit off.
I'm not disputing Ted Nugent called for something. I'm saying you were giving a list of examples, but I thought that was not mainstream people. That was just idiotic people.
Ted Nugent's name mainstream.
I'm going around and around and around. I've conceded Ted Nugent has done
Right.
it as one person.
He's asking for more references.
Where the other references you made is all stuff. Was Ted Nugent holding up decapitated signs, calling for lynching? Your birther? Was he doing the laundry list of information? Was all this one guy, or was it? I thought you were doing a broad spectrum of multiple people were doing it.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna say if he was a birther, you have Donald Trump was a birther. He was the head of the birther movement.
What's the difference between asking about somebody's birth certificate and cutting their head? off?
Well, no, there's not much difference between beheading and hanging. You're gonna end up dead either way. It doesn't matter how you get
So
dead
back
if
to
you're dead.
beheading. Okay, so hanging. So Ted Nugent was out at his concerts, hanging Obama.
So are you trying to? Like,
Obama's a piece of shit. I
So
told
what is
him
your
to suck
point
up-
that you're,
yeah.
you're trying to? What are you trying to
What
say?
I'm trying
by-
to say is if you're going to have Kathy Griffin want to do a political statement of holding up Donald Trump's decapitated head, and you're going to have nonsense where you have people on the other side of the spectrum saying kill the president, okay?
You're not pointing to other bad behavior to justify it. What is your broad
My point is that if you're an eye for an eye makes a whole world blind, okay? Is one right? No. Is the other one right? No. But if you're going to have one person do it and you're going to let them get away with it, why are you going to then all of a sudden hold the other person to a higher standard that you let the first person get away with?
So you're equating they're both
If you're gonna-
of equal.
They were both
You see them both of equal.
equally fucked up. Why are you
Okay.
going to let one of them get away with it?
Okay. Uncle Sam.
What happened to her though? Before, while you're thinking, you said they crucified her. Is that,
Oh, they crucified her.
Social
Yeah.
media attacked her. People pulled out. They didn't want anything to do with her.
She lost contract.
well, why do you? All right, then why do you think there was so
And
much
then she went
outcry?
out and played the victim cards.
Why do you
I'm
guys
now the
think there was
victim
so
in
much
this.
outcry on the side of Kathy Griffin doing it when there was nothing when it? I didn't even hear about this until Kathy Griffin stuff. I didn't hear anything about this stuff until the Kathy Griffin stuff came out. I hadn't heard anything about this.
See,
I knew.
I've heard of some of this, but
Well, I didn't see like these. I didn't know there was effigies and all. I know people are out there with signs and fuck him and all this shit. But I hadn't seen this level
I'm
of.
saying that's a localized issue. If there's a guy in Poughkeepsie that goes on a march and burns Obama in effigy, that's the police. That's not something that
Yeah,
the
but
national media is going to pick
Ted
up and they're
Nugent
going to attack
is a
him
major
for.
rock star. He has multiple television shows. He's a very well-known celebrity, and to have
And you're
him
saying nothing happened to him. I thought
and
there
nothing
was a
happened
penalty.
to him.
Nothing happened.
Nothing
to him.
happened
He
to
was
him.
completely
He
fine.
has his ranches. He's rich as hell.
So where do you think the fault lies then?
Well, she's still
where
got her
the
in
fault-
terms of something
understand.
happening to him,
In-
why didn't something happen to him? What do you like? Who do you think should have done something to him?
Okay, here's should have something happened to him. I mean, technically yes, but you're talking about the court of public opinion. Okay, how things currently stand is that the Republicans, when they have, or excuse me, conservatives, because you have liberal Republicans, there are some out there. When you have conservatives that have a very set mindset, get attacked in a particular way, they attack back and they attack back hard. Democrats or liberals, when they get attacked, they want to say, "Oh, we need to be all inclusive. We want to make sure that everyone's feelings are met on equal format." And that's where the conservatives would go snowflakes, but conservatives act more like snowflakes than.
It's on both sides. That's
It's
snowflake-
extreme on
that
both
snowflake
sides.
shit
It's
is
extreme on both sides.
But what I'm saying is that you have this guy who it's socially acceptable within his group to say this shit, and it stayed basically almost within her group. Where Kathy Griffin, which honestly, like until that happened, like she wasn't even like in my
They were
mind.
making herself relevant. She's making herself relevant doing this
But
shit.
I know both names. Yeah, she made herself relevant doing it. But how she reacted to it, she could have just been like, so whatever.
So how did she? I don't even know. She started crying. Is that what happened? What happened with her?
Well, no, she lost
She put out an apology
because she lost
within a few
her
days,
sponsorships.
She's
because of the outcry.
good.
put
She
out
should
an
have lost
apology.
her shit.
So she's with Ted Nugent,
Okay, I'm not arguing that. Absolutely.
but he didn't.
No, well, I can control that. He should have. That's not appropriate for them to do this stuff
In
when it
this
comes to the
case,
president.
you're him arguing the Israel thing. You're doing like a
Yep.
moral argument. I understand.
It's funny, isn't
then she turned it around and said, "I'm the victim here. Donald Trump and his family are harassing me."
You get what the fuck you get. You do some stupid fucking
That's
shit,
what
and
I'm
you
like-
get what you get. What do you think?
Really?
I'm trying to get there, but you guys keep talking.
I feel nothing in terms of them fucking her up. I feel nothing. You do some shit like that, you get what the fuck you get. I don't want her to die, but you don't expect people to respond to something extreme like that? Go.
So, I look at it this way. I look at it a couple different ways, but like, all right, I'll start off with this. If you're any type of military, you are not allowed. You lose a shit ton of rights. You're not allowed to say shit about the president. You are not allowed to diss this man. You're not, or whatever. You're not allowed to talk shit.
And they really enforce it?
They can, yeah. Like it's UCMJ action if you decide to keep going, and it's treason.
UCMJ.
Universal Code of Military Justice.
Okay.
The
He is
military's
commander-in-chief,
laws.
if you're familiar with that term.
Oh, I
He is the
understand.
So,
commander-in-chief,
I'm just
so.
curious.
I
They
mean,
actually
my
enforce it.
look
There
on
be
it-
rules on the books that they
My
don't
look
enforce.
on it is, like, yeah, everybody has their own opinions about your leader. Everybody's gonna have opinions, and I mean, I think the downside with like if you look at the Obama administration, with he got a lot of negative but positive flack when he got elected. As much as the Republicans didn't like him when he first came into office, they weren't too upset about it. It wasn't a big like, oh my god. Like the common consensus, the common thought that went through, and I've heard it a lot in multiple circles, is the only reason Obama won was because certain people came out and voted.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh.
And
What?
a lot of the black community came out and
They
voted.
Sure did.
I bet they
And
did.
it's not a racial thing because only like 90% of them voted for him. It wasn't like it was just because he was black. I'm sure
But
it had nothing to do
that's
with it.
Well, I
that's
mean, he had a lot of other people that
Oh, yeah, I mean,
like it's just
Yes.
a lot of white people voted
He
for.
won majority.
He won
in white
majority,
precincts
like,
also, but
he-
yes, but his point is.
Yeah, I know.
But that's what
they-
comes out a lot.
he
Like a lot of
mobilized
people,
the black
they
vote.
demoralized. However,
That's why Hillary lost.
when
So I hear.
when Obama got into administration, everybody's like, all right, well, his policies seem sound. He seems like he's a good dude. All right, let's see what happens. And then Obama just kind of went quiet. Like, the dude became kind of a bitch when things happened. He just didn't say anything. He just stayed quiet. It was like, there's only one time where he was like, if you don't fucking do this, we're going to do this. And Hillary, who was SecDef at the time, went, no, we're not. And I was like, oh shit, he's got balls. And then nothing ever came
Then
of
they
it.
were cut off.
Like the time when we were gonna go into Libya, and like everybody's like, we're coming after you. America wasn't doing shit, but every other country was like, we're coming after you. We're coming after you. England was like, we're gonna fuck you up. And then Obama was like, yeah, we're gonna fuck you up. And everybody went, your ball, bud. Have fun.
Those motherfuckers. That's funny.
And
though.
he backed right out. He was like, well, you see.
Oh, everybody's
you
in it.
see,
Okay, it's
you
got-
see,
Well, let me be clear.
You see.
Let me be clear.
But
He would have followed
But
up with that.
the thing is, Obama really kind of hit as much flack
I
as he
always
got.
felt like he was a pussy.
He didn't.
I'm
He
sorry,
didn't
I don't-
really. He
I don't-
didn't really advertise. He wasn't blatant in your face. There was more jokes about it, like thanks Obama. Him even doing that. There was more jokes about his presidency
I
than
didn't-
anything.
I didn't
So
like he
the
never
fact of
called-
all of like Ted Nugent and the negative side of the media, they didn't really need to portray that because he wasn't there. You know what I mean? Versus you've got Trump, who is a very adamant figure. There's
In
a
your face.
huge controversy over him being president in the first place.
Which this shit is fun.
And
by the way.
there's people hating both sides, and you're just like, oh, Jesus. He is your president. Like, I hate to tell you, he's not my president.
Not my
Well,
president.
he kind of is. As much as you don't want to say he is the president of the United States. You're gonna have to live with that. I'm sorry. Until he fucks up, you can't do shit.
Well, he might have already done that.
Well, that's a different topic altogether. But anyways, my point is, by Kathy Griffin doing what she did, because it's such a hot topic right now, and the fact that she publicized what she did,
And
Well,
we're
it went-
in a mass
Do you think that
social
she
media
didn't
world.
know she was going to get all this
you
fucking
were
flack back?
You
I
were
mean,
asking
is she
for
retarded?
flack.
You
You
know
were
what I'm
asking
saying?
for
No,
flack.
I think she felt she would get a reaction. She didn't realize she was going to get this negative reaction.
Like,
Well, she's
I
fucking
think.
dumb then.
Well, I
I'm
think
sorry.
deep down, deep
Well, there's a lot
down.
of stuff that's done that you don't get the reaction. This has been the biggest negative reaction I've seen. Is somebody doing something anti-Trump.
Yes.
There's a lot of anti-Trump stuff that people just kind
I've
of.
seen people go, not my president,
whatever.
this, that, the other thing, but to like, I'm going to behead my president and hold his head like a victory trophy. People kind of went, hey, that's a little too far.
Did you guys see the thing where they had the play where they were staging like his death as part of the play? Was running around with
Shakespeare play.
knives? Yeah, the Shakespeare thing. Did you guys hear about that?
They plug him in as Caesar.
Yeah. But my entire thought of it is like, it's your president, dude. Like, I get it, you might not like it, but don't go out of your way. Like, yes, we have freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a dick though. Like, you can't
That
blatantly.
thought's lost.
Well, yeah,
I hear
it
you,
is lost, but if you're gonna blatantly make like that's a huge statement right there. Like you're symbolizing holding the head of the president. That's gonna raise a lot of questions.
Yeah, and the thing about that too is it's going to incite other people to do things. Like when you're in a prominent, when you have the limelight and you have the camera on you,
You're inciting
and
anarchy.
yeah, you are. You-
Okay. If you're going to incite people, what's the difference between Kathy Griffin holding up Trump's head and Trump going, well, you know, if Clinton gets
nobody's
in,
saying that he's right.
if Clinton gets
They're
in
both wrong.
and she elects her own
They're
judges,
both wrong.
then, you know, you're not going to be able to do anything, but your Second Amendment people,
That's
you know,
wrong. He should have said that.
no shit, but it's the same level of mentality of one side fucked up, the other side fucked up. You're holding one to a higher standard, and the other one's president.
No, I'm not. I just said that he shouldn't have done that. It's in a I mean,
Listen,
in
they're
terms
trying
of-
to hang him on everything they possibly can.
And
They're trying. to.
One of those ropes are going to hold.
So, well, hey, they're trying though.
I don't think
The
so.
the problem
Yeah.
is with what Kathy Griffin did is because she felt that her fame and fortune would have been a shield.
And it wasn't.
You didn't realize how wrong you were because you attacked the head honcho of your country. Like, I hate to tell you that, but if
Couldn't
you
she
go,
be brought up on charges for that?
yes, Yes.
It's not often done, but yes, it could.
It could have. It could. You could actually go after treason on that.
I would have laughed at her if that
I
happened.
don't know if you could really do
All the
treason on
stupid
that
shit
one.
they say. Madonna's saying I
That-
thought
that-
about blowing up the White House.
that-
I'm like,
I
is
mean-
the Secret Service going to knock on her door?
It,
They're
well,
out in
here-
public making these.
here's-
Well, I don't know about
Who's
full
doing that?
blown treason.
Here's
but
the
you would-
problem: if you try to be able to put a court case on something like that, okay, you're going to have that go before the Supreme Court eventually as a First Amendment conversation, and they're not going to litigate that. One, for the massive expense of it, and two, I don't think that they want to have that conversation go in front of the courts.
The thing isn't if it would happen. The thing is, could she? And yes, she could.
Yeah,
She
could.
could.
Government tried.
That's
It
all
won't
we
go
were saying.
anywhere. Is all he's saying. It's like, yeah.
We're
Yeah.
agreeing that it's
Yeah.
bullshit. It
Oh,
wouldn't happen.
it'll
she
go up
could
on-
definitely get brought up on charges.
She could, but it's not going to go anywhere.
Weren't we talking about how there's certain loopholes with freedom of speech where if it incites violence or something like that, you're not protected?
Yes.
There are certain
Yes.
things.
There
to
are
that.
certain things like
Yes.
like
Would
what
this fall? You think this would fall under that?
it pushes a line. That's
It's
the problem.
at the point
It's
where it
pushing a
need to be
line
adjudicated.
because you're pushing an anarchy, which can cause a revolution, an unjust revolution. Like in the Americas, we're all for revolution and standing up for what's right. And if you don't agree with the government, by all means, you have the right to tear it down and rebuild it. However, to cite anarchy just because you have a personal dislike for someone
You know,
without justification, you're just inciting anarchy.
the only way that would
And
be brought up.
it's literally bringing out it's at the demise of the good of the people. When most of the people are living in peace, if you're going to incite anarchy to that level, and that can cause very, very deadly consequences.
What's your point, though?
The only time that you're going to have it brought up, her brought up on charges, and that conversation actually get to the legality of that, is if someone turns around and assassinates Trump, or even makes an attempt to assassinate Trump. Will they turn around and be like, well, you know, this caused that to happen? You know, and then
Yeah, I don't think
Chain
that.
of causation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think it would.
Well, that's
Even
the
if that
thing.
did happen, I don't
That's
think
why
that
the
they would.
site that's generally why the charge would be inciting anarchy. But you'd also have to have you'd have to see a realm. You have to understand our country's already on that knife edge of hating our president, liking our president. Like it's kind of a 50-50
144 days to 60% disapproval.
So my point being is by her citing that, you're causing trouble where you don't need to ensue any more trouble. You don't need to do shit like that. Like that's poking a bear for no fucking reason.
It's a big bear too.
And that's why I'm like, you kind of deserve what you got.
She absolutely
be-
deserves what you get. I feel
Like,
nothing.
yeah, Ted Nugent did what he did, but honestly, he kept it so tight in his circle that shit never hit mainstream.
I
news.
would have felt the same way about if something happened to him, though. If they backlashed on him, I would feel nothing.
But
you
at
you
the
put
same
that shit
time-
out there, you get what you get.
But yeah, at the same time, if you were to get hung for it, I'd be like, well, dumbass,
Yep, I agree.
Absolutely.
you're going against the president of the United States. Yeah, you're a public figure. You need to understand. Just like if I were to be in uniform, right? When I'm in uniform, like if you guys see me on the street and I'm doing what I'm doing, you guys don't think anything of it, right? You wouldn't know me from Adam. You'd be like, alright, that dude's doing whatever. Now, if you see me in a uniform doing something, I draw attention instantly.
That's true.
So I have to be very accountable of my actions because something
That's
that
true.
a normal
Now
day
you're
person would be
representing-
like, whatever. I am now a representative of an organization.
Right.
And I am seen to the people as a symbol
Reminds me of the
of
workers.
core values.
They're like in uniform, but they're right out front of the theater doing whatever they're doing. I'm not working. I'm like, you're representing us, you idiot.
So if
Yes.
I'm in my uniform, the people see me as this being that holds certain core values and needs to reflect that image.
Yep.
Right.
If I do anything to negate that image, I'm fucked.
Or tarnish, yeah.
I'm going to get hung on social media. I'm going to get hung
certainly
amongst
will.
my peers. I'm going to get hung by my chain of command.
You might get hung in effigy.
But I'm
Right.
just saying, like, you see how the shit just fucking rolls downhill quick?
Yeah.
That's what happens. You're a major public figure.
Yeah.
You can't just you stand for
They
something.
know better though. It's like we're having this discussion like they don't know. She doesn't know she's dumb, and the people around her don't tell her you're gonna like get some shit back for this. Then it's you're rich, so I have no remorse. I feel nothing.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. What we got here? No, you can take out that kids thing. I don't want to talk about
We
that.
don't talk about
Boring.
that?
You
Okay.
want to talk about kids?
It was just some kids that it was going to be like, all right, some guy was in a like a fast food place. I don't remember which one, and he had been drinking and he was acting up. So he was, throwing, taking off the register, throwing stuff in there, acting up, right? So two of the employees jumped him. Jumped him. Obviously they're gonna lose their jobs, right? You can't do that. You call the cops and wait. That's it. So it was going to be a discussion about, were they right to do that? But they're just not. You can't, when you're working, you can't.
Well, no, if he's just being a drunken idiot.
He was violent. It could have escalated into him hurting someone else or something like that. But you can't take that in your own. You got to wait for the cops.
Or you have to wait for him to actually attack.
But then
it's self-defense.
Right. But then they went overboard with it.
They proactively did something.
Yes, they did.
So.
They jumped.
We might applaud them for taking matters in their own hands, but yes, you would.
It's one of those good initiative, bad judgment moments.
Right. Okay. So I don't need to.
Yeah. No, we don't need to hammer that now.
All right. So real quick, the thing there that says news not showing terrorists yelling Allah. All right. So it's like we already.
Go without saying.
Well, what should happen then is if let's say you have a situation where someone has footage of that happening, right? And then you have a news organization showing that same footage, and then they doctor it and take out the Allah yelling or whatever that shows that it's clearly a terrorist, religious-driven, radical act, right? What should happen to those organizations when those things are proven? What do you guys think should happen?
They should be blown up and discredited. But then again, at the same time,
we all know better than that, though. But yeah, you're right.
At the same time, though, like you're talking about the media, dude. They can do whatever the fuck they want and pretty much get away with it. They doctor every story. They tell bullshit on everything. On how many different points of view?
Right.
You'll see the same story told from so many different angles. It causes fucking arguments.
They also have the rules and laws written where they're actually allowed to do that.
More bullshit.
So, like,
I see a thing now.
Terrorists yelling a lot. The funny part is, I mean, I've never, like, them screaming a lot. I've never. It's never really been a thing. Like most of the time, you'll see him praying. Like that's a big cue. If you see a dude acting strange and starting to pray, you might want to run the other way very quickly. I mean, that's my experience.
He's preparing himself for the.
He kind of looks nervous. He's kind of sweating, or he just walks into a crowd of people very calm and just starts praying. I'm out. I will run like a fucking gazelle. I will be the fuck that. I will be the cheetah.
You got some good advice here from the military guy. You see a guy randomly starting to pray, and he's
if I see a dude
nervous.
in traditional dress, or if I just see a dude that kind of looks funky or they just walk into the middle of a crowd and start praying, I'm out.
Are they going to attack him for saying that because he's not being like accepting of their
bullshit?
Are they going to?
Hold on. What's your opinion of UPS boxes?
They scare the fuck out of me.
Yeah. And do you gentlemen know why?
Were they bombs and things inside there? Anthrax, the drugs? What do we got?
Something
happened? There was a scene? You got a story?
Which one?
UPS boxes.
Which story?
He's trying to trigger you.
Which story are you trying to trigger me into?
Well, they don't understand the UPS boxes reference. Why you're afraid of them.
Well, boxes in general. It doesn't have to be a fucking UPS box, but fucking boxes, trash. You have to understand that, like, over there, like, you didn't even know when an IED was hitting. And the thing is, when they always used to tell us, well, look for the trash on the ground. Guess what? The entire fucking sides of the road are covered in trash. Good luck. But it could be something as simple as a piece of trash hanging in a tree. Because what we ended up starting looking for was their indicators. We started looking for their fucking sight mechanisms. So if we saw something that lined up and we're like, no, stop. But if you were walling down a highway and you just saw a random fucking box on the side of the road, or you saw something kind of, you're like, nah.
We got about 10 more minutes left for this show. So real quick, the equity versus diversity in the college level. Basically, it was a situation where there was this thing called where they would have all of the black faculty and students leave the campus as some show of, I don't remember exactly what.
You mentioned this the other day.
And so then they a professor spoke out against it in terms of they wanted to switch it around and have the white people do that as opposed to the black people. And the white professor... The white people
did it on their own, then they came back and demanded all the white people do it.
Right, so it's like... But it was something that was traditional with the black people doing it. It represented something. I don't remember the details, but represented something within like Black history or something like that.
A day of absence.
Right, or a recognition that you need these people here to in order for you to grow as a society, or something to that effect.
Oh, so there's symbolism.
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that. Okay,
I think back in high school where a friend would go silent for the day because they would be
Yeah,
killed
same
by a
sort of
driver.
thing.
They would be walking around,
Gotcha,
but
gotcha.
they didn't talk.
There's
or interact.
symbology to it. Okay.
Right, so a professor spoke out against the idea that they wanted to now have it where white people wanted to be able to do that. Where it's like, okay, we're going to remove all the whites from here on our day. And a white professor spoke out against it and was like, what is wrong with you? This was put in place to as a result of things that have happened, not just to single out this group of people and say, you know what I mean? So that white people wanted to do it. He spoke out against it and they wanted him fired. For speaking out against white people not being able to do it. Because he thought it was stupid, basically. He put it very eloquently in his email, but he was like, you're just stop it. So they want him fired. So
Black students.
no, white students were angry at the white professor because he was against the idea of white people doing the same thing that the black people were doing.
Because it
When-
ruins the symbology of it.
Right, and like I said, the black people doing it was a tradition thing at the school. It happened they do it every year, blah blah blah, to show, the symbolism behind it. And then one year, the white kids wanted to have their version of it, and the white professor was like, "No, you're stupid."
They are.
Right.
White people have been controlled for a long
So
time.
but then he got backlash from the white faculty, or I mean white students, probably faculty too, and they wanted him fired.
Really?
Yep.
Is this the guy that has to teach off campus now?
Say it again.
Is this the guy that's a teach off campus now? They won't let him come on campus.
That's
to teach?
probably him. I haven't seen the recent stuff yet with him. I think this the thing. What's the thing I showed you though?
Okay.
And so, what do you guys think? So you think about that? You think they
Look,
were?
I
if
think
they
the students
want a
are
day off-
retarded doubly over.
If they want a day off, great. Take a day off. You don't need to have a symbology for it.
I have to agree with the professor. You're retarded because you're making it a racial issue at this point
And
when
it's not.
It's supposed to be a very symbolic, like humbling.
And he
issue.
also suggested that they do one that's all inclusive. If they
Yeah.
wanted to have everybody leave off campus and do it like that, he's perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, but as far as the campus goes, that's a tradition.
But
like,
it's like,
one, you've got a tradition. Two, if it's not butt hurting anybody, and it's showing a really good message, which to me that's a great.
it's almost
message.
like, the black kids were, let's say they were beaten by whips, and the white kids weren't. But the black kids want to remove themselves to, bring awareness to that whole thing, right? But the white kids want to do it too, even though they weren't beaten.
That's my
You
point.
know, it's
That's
like,
exactly- I was literally going to
that's-
say that. I said they have won the contest. They have won the war, and for some reason feel the need
Like I don't
to
get
show
like,
that they
like,
lost.
The point of that is like that's for you to remember what the fuck happened. What happened to you? Nothing.
the same professor talked about how that college was bringing in teachers based on their race, and he was of the mindset that you bring them in based on what they can bring to the school in terms of the subject that they're going to be teaching, and he got flack for that.
Experience.
Experience, yes,
Bringing your experience
So
and
you
your
got-
knowledge versus
your skin
race.
color.
But to me, see, that goes against like equal opportunity. Like to me, like equal opportunity it's equal opportunity. In other words,
If the black guy has
if
the
that
credentials
dude's
and
got
he's
the
that
credentials
good,
and
then
he's
he gets
better
it.
than you, sorry, he's getting the job.
I mean, the same with the white guy.
So hiring because out of race because you want your demographic to look better is just as equally to me that's more racial than not hiring the dude because he's not qualified.
So, but they get into this idea that when you have black students, they want somebody to they want the faculty to a certain diversification so that they can identify with them and not feel, like they don't have any, they don't belong there.
Well,
Like,
see,
is
I
that, you know what I'm talking
understand-
about?
I get that, but
I
at the
don't-
same
I don't
time,
necessarily agree with it,
if
Go to Morehouse then. Did I say that loud?
ooh,
Go to Morehouse?
burn.
No, don't.
But at the same time though, like if we're trying to grow, like it comes back to that other point I made where I think it was last show. Or maybe the first show. I've lost track. Anyways,
It's fine.
the point I made where if we're to get away from racism and sexism and all these mentalities, stop caring about it.
Morgan Freeman talked about that.
Stop
because
caring
he
about
got
it. Just
slacked
walk
out,
into
too.
class, treat each other as equal. Don't look at it like, well, he ain't a black teacher. He doesn't get where I'm coming from. Dude, we all walk different paths of life.
This this black female actress got crucified because she wanted to get rid of Black History Month. Crucified. But her point was exactly what you're saying. It's like stop talking about race. We're all human beings.
How about
stop
we're-
putting this emphasis on?
Stop the racism. How about one? We're all fucking American. Because that's what you are. Go to another country. Guess what? They don't give a fuck what color you are. You're fucking American. Suck it. Well, I'm African American. You're American. Shut up.
There's an American in your title, so you're.
You're just American. They don't give a fuck what you are. But for us to truly end it, I'm not saying what happened in the past is wrong, is right, and we should just brush it under the rug. But I'm saying we're not fixing the problem. We're just keeping it alive. How about we stop that and grow and actually look at each other and go, "What's up, dude?
Yeah.
What's up, bro? How you doing? You want to come over for dinner tonight?" Stop seeing race. Stop seeing color. Stop seeing religion. Like, yeah, that's who you are. That's what defines you as a character and as a person. But at the same time, we're all the same. I hate to tell you this, but we all bleed red. We all have the same blood types. I hate to tell you that, but when you get a blood transfusion, they don't ask if it's white or black. They ask what
is this black?
fucking type it
Is
is.
this black blood or is this white?
Is this
blood?
black A positive? No, is it A
That's
positive? It's A
fantastic. If
positive.
you get a white racist or who are black racist and they have the opposite skin color but the blood saved their lives, that would be fantastic.
But my-
you literally kill themselves. They find you put black blood in me, motherfucker.
But
Like, really?
my point being is for us to kill that, for us to kill this mentality of racism and segregation is for us to unify and go, it doesn't fucking matter, dude. Can he teach me? Can
No,
I
it's
learn
not
from
been
him?
programmed.
Can I
It's
learn
programmed.
from her?
It's all a
Can I
matter of,
learn
like,
from that dude.
Keeping us all divided.
You know, there's an
you know?
entire genre of porn on race bashing.
What?
Yeah, there's actually out
Race
there.
bashing?
What they'll do is they'll take actresses, blindfold them
Oh yeah. Okay, I get it.
have them have sex with a person of the opposite race, not tell them, go through the entire act, right?
Uh-huh.
And when they're done, they take the blindfold off.
Oh shit! I'm gonna look that up when you guys are gone.
A question before you end this, real quick. We can go around the table real quick. Can you use the N word on television today?
That's an interesting
Broadcast
question.
television.
Depends upon your race.
Bill Maher can't use it.
No, I'm not talking
Well,
about
he tried.
HBO because you can
That's true.
drop that on HBO. I'm saying on regular
Oh, he
television.
dropped it and he
because
got- he got some shit
it
for
was
it.
used on a sitcom in the 80s.
It
And
depends
it was not
upon
an outcry over it.
it depends
You're
upon
right.
your race.
Network.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Depends on the network.
The Jeffersons.
Was it?
Was it used freely or was it like dropped once?
It was dropped once, but the word was uttered, and I'm curious. Do
Yeah,
you
no,
think that can happen today?
it can. It depends upon your race.
Well, that's Booker T.
I think
Well, it
it
was a white
depends.
guy that said it.
Booker
I think it
Did Booker
really
T drop
depends.
that one time?
I think it depends really.
White Americans are smiling at me.
I think it really
Yeah,
depends
White
on the
America's
network
smiling.
though. Like
Well,
look at your
that- they
network
were-
because your networks are demographic.
It's also
They were in
depending upon.
syndication when I used to watch them, but I think they were on one of the major networks.
It- it-
CBS, ABC, or NBC.
It's also upon your area of the country because if you go down in the deep south, like that's used regularly.
Well, just
There's
a
a
thought
lot
that I
of
was just
things that are
curious.
regular in the South.
You're gonna ask me
And
afterwards.
West
I'll
Virginia.
tell you now. They're doing a CPR class, and they're learning how to do CPR on a dummy. And George Jefferson goes down and is performing mouth to mouth on the dummy. And when it comes to another guy that's sitting with his arms folded in a chair, and the instructor tries to have him do it, he looks at him and is like, "No, I don't touch anything that's been kissed by a nigger."
Oh shit!
Oh fuck.
Woo! They're not gonna get away with that now. No,
No, that's
Boom, done.
that's a lot.
Not
different.
getting away with that.
I thought we were talking
No.
about. I thought we were talking about the other
No.
use of the N word.
No.
that was
not
the
the
N-word I
blatant
meant.
words.
No, is the
I
answer.
meant-
And
Like
the thing
that,
about that
no.
is it's a teaching thing. I'm
And
assuming.
I thought it was very
But no,
instructional
they're
in the
not getting away with
episode,
that.
but
No,
you can't
no,
be able
no,
to do
no,
that
no,
on
no.
I think
You
the,
can't get
I
away
think
with
the
that.
only way that they'd get away with it would be documentary. Like if they're actually showing like this is what it was like at this period and they're keeping
Yeah.
it true, but they'd have to have a parental advisory.
So we
No,
were able
no,
to do that in the 80s, and now fast forward 30 years.
Well, they did it back.
You
in
know
the
what's
90s
funny about
too.
that? We've allowed
We're-
more
we're
sexual
going-
things and more profanity. That's more like before. That was like something that they tried to censor. You know,
I'm
but
okay with
now,
that.
but now that's just open and out there. And I'm not. You know,
Hey,
But
you
it's
know
just
something?
funny, like, you
we
can't-
live in a Puritan society. We were founded by Puritans. They were prudish as all fuck. Other
Hence
places,
the name Puritan.
yeah, other places in the world are not like that whatsoever. So the fact that America's actually getting its stick out of its ass, or maybe putting the stick back in,
Well, the funny part is
yeah,
like
it's like they made
Metaphorically
sexuality.
or
They
not.
tabooed sexuality.
The
And
yeah.
that's just that's
the
a
funny-
natural.
the funny part is we use sex as a selling item and like it's all over our medias and everything else. But in common social circles, it's taboo. We are very taboo on sex. There's certain things like we're very prudish compared to other countries.
I
Trust
remember in
me.
high school, people were like afraid to talk about jacking off. Like they just we don't talk about. What did you say? You said jacking off. Like, you motherfuckers do it. But it was taboo. You don't even talk about that now. Like it's a fuck now.
It's
Anyway.
it's common knowledge that dudes sure
We
do.
learned that in Cruel Intentions. Everybody does it, but nobody talks about it.
We got to end this show. We did 44 minutes here, which is fine. This is going to save that other one. No, you can erase that.
Yeah.
Veterans Affairs.
We're going to save that for the other because that was going to be a long one. I feel
I
like.
thought we
Is
were
it
just
a
going to
sexual
roll
thing?
right into it.
Well, the timing ran out.
Well, you'd have to do another whole show.
We got to do a whole nother show on that.
I got the day off tomorrow.
I work all day tomorrow. Oh, anyway, so like, subscribe, share, and thank my guests for being here. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Buh.